How's the focus? Focus good? Hey, here we go. We are on set today in beautiful New York City at the Chelsea Film Festival for the world art premiere. Yeah, it's gotta be art premiere. This is Sir Director right here, Nicholas Holland, and Madam Holland. And this is also Mr. Holland in here. And then we got Jaime Zavalos over here, one of our actors. He's fantastic. He is one of the most loveliest thespians we've ever come across. Good man. Get in here. Executive producer here. We are not missing anyone else. All right, that's it. Intrusion. Same word there.
A milli at all times, I draw lines. You wanna cross it, then you can shorten your own life. Small fries get pulverized and ostracized. They will remember me even if they had Alzheimer's. Unorthodox, I run the block, they won't box. And now they house is getting locked like Fort Knox. Their life is up one day, and then it's down like a car with hydraulics. I'm coming for your wallet. I'm living my life, unapologetic, demonic. So call a medic for this anonymous stalker that'll chop that lock. Walk in your house with a Glock, I'm ramshacking the spot, and then I'm robbing your pops, and I'll be taking them out. You better pray for the spouse. She hiding, but I'ma find her. I'm taping them out, and I'll be taking the time.
There we go.
Not nervous, sir?
Hey! My anxiety is so through the roof, and I'm so anxious that I think I'd rather sit down and watch it than sit in the dark. Sold out. That counts. Yeah, but before we start, if you have Instagram, go to An_Intrusion_film and follow it on Instagram.
So, Nick, where did that story come from? What inspired a story like that?
Well, I'll bypass a couple of the really more personal aspects, but some of the other nitty-gritty comes from just stuff you write in between, calls at work to pass the time and kind of distract yourself. I do work on an ambulance, kind of in between calls at work. One of the easiest ways to kind of distract myself, I usually take a spiral-bound notebook with me and kind of just try to put pen to paper. And sometimes you have some good days, sometimes you have bad days, and the easiest way to kind of distract yourself is to write. So I would say that's kind of where the story formed and was pieced together, was on an ambulance in between calls.
Dustin, I want to go to you real quick because I can't get your character out of my mind right now because there was a lot going on there. There's a lot of intensity. How did you dive into the kind of the psyche of your character?
It's not too far from where I am in real life.
I killed it.
Honestly, it's acting. That's it. Yeah. But anyway, I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. You guys taking your time out of your day and spending your money to come here and watch us. Thank you so much.
Just a quick follow-up for you, Dustin. You are from out of state. You're from Arkansas, right? First time here, and what was the experience like for you in Metro Detroit?
Yeah, you guys have a great state. It's a beautiful state. The people are fantastic. The crew of this film was fantastic. It's the best crew I've ever worked with in my life, in my whole acting experience. So, yeah. You guys are great.
Nick, how did you, Sam, Alex, the assistant director, how did you guys meet, come together for this big project?
Well, Alex and I have known each other since like 6th and 7th grade at the same bus stop since we were kids. So Alex and I have always kind of been involved with stuff. And while he and I kind of kicked around the idea of starting something, I then, as the ball started rolling, met Sam and really realized how much stuff I didn't have together and how much stuff I still had to how many wheels I still had to grease and how many nuts and bolts still had to be tightened. And we started to kick around the idea, and then Sam brought with him like a lot of crew and a lot of ideas of how to actually take something that was just an idea between two friends and actually put it closer into effect and actually make it closer to a reality. So Sam and I met at just some kind of local filmmaker mixer, and I was just the goon in the corner.
Speaking of Sam, then, not a lot of people realize a lot goes into production value. Kind of talk about how that all plays out for you and the work that goes on for you.
Well, as a producer, ultimately it is the assembled pieces of a whole that's kind of makes the architecture of the film. So if it wasn't for all of these wonderful actors taking a risk, whether it's Angelina met me with her mother and I had to convince them that I'm not crazy. Kaden met me with her mother and I had to convince her that I wasn't crazy. Kayla, I had to convince actually there's some conversations that you could really ruin me. Alex, who I've never met someone so organized to make something happen. Alex Norris is just like the world's greatest co-producer, 80 that anyone could have. And then of course, Sai Abdul-Nur, like the only person that I truly trust behind the glass. But one quick more shout out, honestly. Nick Holland directed and wrote this thing. Come on, guys. So he won't talk about himself, but I will. In terms of producing, again, it's the assembled pieces. All of these assets that come together, whether it's all the police chiefs. Thank you, Harold and Jerry. Honestly, Tom DiAgostino gave us the keys to his house, went on vacation and let us destroy it. Paul Glantz, thank you for letting us destroy your theater tonight. Popcorn everywhere. I'm sorry. We had this Kassab. I'll tell you something. The apple does not fall far from the tree. Sam Kassab has 2 amazing sons, and I got to borrow one of them. So honestly, and Jerry Walker for letting us take over Holly and Craig. And it's everyone who kind of came together and and gives a little bit of themselves, and that's what producing is. It's gluing all that together so that his story that he wrote, and in my opinion, I honestly, when he talks about himself being a self-loathing goon in the corner, I have not witnessed anyone that can write. This is just, I'm going to say it, as good. I suck at writing. And when I met him, he made me feel like I want to quit writing and so I just only want to produce his scripts because Nick Holland writes. It's like this. But that's what producing is. It's putting on. So yes.
So I want to get to Angelina because you had a big role in this. A lot of a kind of an emotional roller coaster for you, playing the daughter. And we're kind of curious about those emotions and what was it like playing Kira Gilker's girlfriend?
I don't know. For me as an actress, I really have to put myself in that character's shoes. I can't really be myself. I have to experience it as Rebecca. Every scene that you saw was literally me actually like being in the moment. And with Keir Gilchrist, he's amazing. I'm the kind of person that likes to talk to every actor and actress that I like to work with, just so the chemistry comes off a little bit more real on screen. So we spent a little time talking and getting to know each other before, and he's great.
I want to ask you, Nick, you used a lot of real law enforcement in this film. We have a couple chiefs here, Holly Police Chief, Lake Orion Police Chief. What advantages, how does, using real police officers not only on camera, but behind the scenes, how does that add to the authenticity for you?
It made directing it'd be a little easier because in terms of direction, it's as simple as going, all right, so in this scene, there's going to be someone coming up this hill holding someone at gunpoint. You guys already have guns drawn on this guy. Very little, wait, hang on, go do that again. What? It made it easy to have a scene like the last one where, with all the moving parts, you have about 50 people standing in a driveway, and to be able to take one half of the axis and go, this is what's going to happen, and everybody goes, okay. Made it infinitely easier. There's a lot of guys here actually who made it out from Detroit Fire tonight and played some of the medics, and had having some of my friends from work actually come out, getting to work with people who actually are in the jobs that they're portraying, I think is invaluable. A lot of us in production, we get to stand in front of the camera and we get to talk and we get to accept a lot of the glory. And I wanted to say, Cy, Brandon Keller, wherever you're at, Peter, if you're here, these people made the film entirely, and they worked tirelessly, and they worked just based on the love of the film, and they don't get to really step in front of the camera on the reverse and enjoy a lot of the glory of it. And without these people, the film was nothing. And I can't thank these guys enough for what they did, for believing in it in any aspect, because actors and everyone in production and stuff, we get to have a lot of the fun, and they do all the hard work, and honestly, they are what makes the film. And I hope everybody moving forward, if they work on some kind of indie film, gives their crew all the support and everything they ask of, because your crew is what is going to make your film, and without your crew, your film won't get completed, and if it does, it'll get completed in a very half-assed way. So support your crew comes first, because your crew is what is going to see you through to the end. So thank you guys so much for that.
Feed them very well.
What was it like to produce the movie as a producer? What's the experience?
Oh, do you want to know the experience? As a producer, that's probably a little bit different. As an executive producer, I pretty much... So as an executive producer, I was actually telling Nick when we were in New York that I'm also a filmmaker and a writer and a whole bunch of other stuff. But as the executive producer on this project, I got to be on the outside and kind of enjoy all the fun, like he said. And all my hard work was up front. Then they worked on this movie for years, a couple of years, right? 2 years to get it all the way done. And I got to enjoy pretty much watching all the behind the scenes and working with the actors and going to the red carpets and, and now I'm enjoying this part too. So as an executive producer, there's a lot less work. I'm gonna just go ahead and admit that. All my work was up front helping to get this guy the crew to make it happen.
This is the way I like to work with executive producers. For the people for the people in the audience who know what I talk about when I'm saying this, the person who executive produces best is the person who gives you what you need and steps back. So,
gotta let the man bring the vision to life.
Honestly, I just want to say again one more time, as a physical producer of this picture, it's all about the team. And for me, as a physical producer, physically on the picture, Alex Norris. If anybody, I know he's picky about who he might work with, but nobody will keep your shit in line 100%. You were the best co-producer and AD, honest to God, that I've ever had on a physical movie set on Earth.
So, were there any significant thriller type movies of this nature that inspired you when you wrote the?
That's all good.
Yeah, it was really easy to kind of, when people say, what's it about or what's the genre, you have to really water it down and give them some buzzwords and say thriller, stalker, on the border of horror. But really, it's pretty significantly influenced by a lot of 90s thrillers like 8mm, 7, and actually this film I really dig that is more comedic. It's called Very Bad Things, and it's really just about if somebody just from the very, very beginning had come clean on one lie, the entire plot would have been non-existent. And I like the idea that if he just from the beginning, when he got the email, told his wife, hey, I was screwing around, some guy took a picture of me, you're gonna get it. And then they could have gone to counseling and worked it out. What plan would they realistically have had, other than kicking in the door and maybe trying to shoot him? But other than that, but they knew him, they stalked him, and they knew what he would act like, and they knew that he would need to control. He's a misogynistic pig who needed to have control at all times. But I like films where the entire plot is centered around no, 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 no. And then it just gets worse from there because somebody just from the very, very beginning wouldn't come clean on something. So that's been a lot of the influences for me because a lot of 90s thrillers like that, like Unfaithful and Fatal Attraction, stuff like that really ran with that theme. That was something I really wanted to kind of lean into on this one. So those are some of the big ones that were the biggest influences for me on the script side of things.
Congratulations for all the team and Mr. Arkansas too.
Hold on. Yeah, where was the other one? Raise your hand. Back there in the red.
Where did you bury the boyfriend at?
Yes, we didn't quite see where you buried the boyfriend.
Literally, check your backyard.
In a field across from St. Pat's Church in White Lake is where we shot.
So that's where he is. St. Pat's Fair, we can dig him up.
That's why they only did
He buried him so well that nobody really
I
knows.
was back home in Arkansas when they filmed that scene, so I don't know.
That was a body double.
Choice with, I noticed a lot of like extreme close-ups throughout. It was really cool. I just was wondering if there was a stylistic choice or to tell that story on that part of it.
It was more of a speed issue. So if you've ever, so when you shoot things, wides inherently consume a lot more time because there's more set design involved and all those things. And in terms of a crew size, we didn't have a lot of set designers to do things when we did some shots. So I had to kind of mold the shooting style around that. So there wouldn't be as much stuff in the background. And so for that, I had to kind of limit myself in terms of what types of lens selection that I could use for specific shots. But I do tend to like shoot a little bit wider when I'm close, but it envelops a lot of things in the frame. So if you watched when that medic scene was happening after he shot him, when Jerry was over atop the body, I was actually really wide on that shot, and we were really close, and you could see Jerry and the officer behind him. And I stylistically, like, I pick those types of shots sometimes if I can get them, because there wasn't really anything in the background for those types of shots. So yeah, it just kind of depended on, you know, like how fast we needed to get through the scenes, and then also what would accomplish telling the story without adding too many elements into it that would bog everything down.
What camera was the film shot on?
It's possible. No, so it was shot on 3 different cameras. The main camera was a Scarlett W Dragon. Another one was the Blackmagic 4K, I think. What did you use?
The Sony A7 III.
Oh, Sony A7 III. There, I'm saying corrected. And then a Red Gemini, and that was Brandon Lee Keller as a second unit shooting, as well as when we did our Billy Boyd scene, we had a Red Dragon and also the Gemini at the same time.
I do want to say something. We're not done making movies here. So one, I cannot. Well, there's like 4 or 5 scripts right now sitting on his desk.
We'll see what this one does, and then
he's having a baby.
And then we'll pick. Yeah, we'll pick. Pre-order it on iTunes. That's going to be what we ended on because to drop the veil, a lot of things are decided on your placement and the way your film starts to trend on other platforms based on your iTunes pre-orders. So if anybody dug this and wants to watch it again, please, 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 before Thanksgiving weekend, pre-order it on iTunes, and that will decide a lot of our charting on a lot of the other streaming platforms. So thank you guys so much.
All right, thank you guys so much. Again, the after party is across the street at Beerhead.
Nicholas Holland, as much as you thank everyone else, I don't care what you say, and it's because of your modestness is why I love you. So thank you. I love you. And Anna Holland, thank you for letting me borrow your husband. Awesome. Thanks to our DJ. Hey, everybody tip the waitresses, tip the staff. Matt, DJ, hit it up. I don't know what you're playing.
Block, I'm cruising. We got no intentions of losing. We got more to gain. We'll be bringing you the pain. Nobody's gonna stop the intrusion. Better hesitate to move in. We've been following what you doing.
But he was a beast.